wine.
Yeah. Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering, and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest, graphic design.
All right, welcome back to Monty and Faro, and we're going to our new segment, Head to Head. Faro?
Tonight,
Once the video's done playing, you want
we
to
are going to witness
Yeah.
the most anticipated match
It's rolling
in the history of professional wrestling for the heavyweight championship of the world. Are you ready? Wrestling fans, are you ready?
All right, to start a show, Jimmy Farrow is going to go over the rules with Head to Head.
All right, ladies and gents, here we go, head to head. The following criteria is necessary for this competition. The first category will be mic skills for those at home. You know, how good are you on a stick, as you said.
As I said.
You know, how do we talk to the crowd? Are we a natural, or are we just good at what we do? Criteria number 2 is mat skills. You know, like you got your Bret Harts in this world, and then you got your Giant Gonzalez's. Do I need to explain that? If I do, oh boy. All right.
You've got trouble.
Yeah. Number 3, overall influence on the industry. We all know that, you know, certain wrestlers have definitely left a much bigger thumbprint than others.
So, for example, Bruiser Brody.
Bruiser Brody.
He left a huge influence on this industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We also have it, criteria number 4, the, as I like to call it, the back of the baseball card. That is your resume, how many championships, things like Money in the Bank, you know, if you're a WWE guy, Royal Rumble, etc., etc. And the final subject in the competition is something called the It Factor. And I would like to think that most of us know what that is, you know, whether it's... you know, Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior.
I used the
or,
example last
you know,
week of the It Factor.
You have a certain thing about you?
Andre the Giant documentary.
Yeah.
At some point, they start showing some wrestlers, and there's this clip of superstar Billy Graham doing a flex. Mm-hmm. My wife, who's no fan of wrestling, said, "Ooh, who's that?"
There you go.
And that is the It Factor.
There you go.
All right, let's talk about our first contestant, Mr. Mil Mascaras. Jimmy?
All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Born way back in 1942, Mexican luchador. He is regarded as one of the greatest lucha libre fellas of all time. A Mexican legend, of course, along with El Santo and Blue Demon. You know, I really don't have to go through all of this to, like, basically let you know, of course, the Man of 1,000 Masks is quite possibly the first legitimate lucha libre star that crossed over into Vince's territory. That's for sure.
Yep.
It didn't matter back in the day where Mil Mascaras went. Mil Mascaras was basically a main event guy, and he used to come to town once in a while. We got to see him. Of course, he's been inducted to multiple Hall of Fames. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame back in 2012. Mil Mascaras is an absolute freaking legend. I can basically leave it at that. You know how big...
Was Mil Mascaras fall into that Andre the Giant, Abdullah Butcher,
somewhat,
Bruiser Brody,
absolutely,
traveling carny guy that people
one of
wanted
them
to see?
Yeah, didn't matter where he went, and he would draw.
Look, for
that
me,
guy would draw.
For me, Mil Mascaras. Look, we were at the big event a couple of years back, right, with our table.
Right.
We went and got a picture with Mil Mascaras because he was that important to us.
You know
right?
what's amazing? That he agreed to take the picture.
Yeah, well, that's
Because
trouble in itself,
as you
right?
dive deeper into Mil, you find out that Mil wasn't exactly very fond of losing.
Well, he was kind of like
Ever.
he was Brody-ish.
He was
right?
Brody-ish.
He would not lose
That's
his
right.
matches.
He protected his image, and he went globally. He went everywhere, and he put fannies everywhere. No
Let me
matter
ask
where
you,
he
when
went.
he wrestled Superstar Graham in Madison Square Garden those 2 times,
Yeah.
he ended up losing that second match, right? Did he lose by pinfall?
Did he lose?
I don't know. He did lose.
I know that there was a lot of countouts that Mil would get victories with. Oh, you got counted out to me win.
Tell the fans a story where we went to the Battle Royal.
God. Really? All right. Well, it was me, my partner here, and another fella that we went to school with. And I think his pop took us.
Right.
He was a very cool guy. And he took us to Madison Square Garden to see, was that Morocco Backlund?
It was Morocco.
Okay,
Backlund,
so we went to the Garden to see Morocco Backlund, but also there was a very exciting at the time. Battle Royals were very, very special and very exciting back in those days. So there was a Battle Royal, and Mil Mascaras was in the Battle Royal. Now, the friend that we went with, his favorite wrestler was Mil Mascaras.
Yep.
He absolutely loved Mil Mascaras.
And the cool thing about Mascaras, he had the mask on, he'd take it off, he had another mask on.
He had another
right?
mask. What about the cape he used to wear,
Oh,
too?
awesome.
The cape was fantastic.
He was a superhero.
He was a superhero.
With his chest out. Right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, he was in tremendous shape.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. He was built like a statue. And the flying body press back then, come on, I know everybody flips today, but that was
Right.
exciting. A flying body press back then was like, wow, check out Captain Ariel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So anyway, during the Battle Royal, the bell rings, ding! The next thing you know, Mascaras is out.
And back to the locker room.
He gets thrown out, and the look on our friend's face was like somebody had just stolen all 4 of his puppies. It was like, I'm going to take the last one, too. And I never forgot the disappointment. We found out years and years later that Mil Mascaras, if he wasn't going to win something, got in and got out.
Took a powder.
That's it. I'm out. So this poor,
you went to see Mil
We were
Mascaras.
just like 12 at the time, and our friend was crushed. Boy, if he knew that one, we know now. You're right.
Let's talk about contestant number 2.
Oh, my
the
God.
Viper, Randy Orton.
Randall Keith Orton. Hey, he's going to be 41 soon. Wow.
Getting old.
We know that Randy Orton, of course, is a legendary WWE legend, of course. Boy, there's just so many things you could say about him. Of course, he comes from a family of wrestlers. The grandfather, Bob Orton, his father, Cowboy Bob, who we've had on.
Yep.
Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. Of course, his Uncle Barry. That's a whole nother story. There is nothing that Randy Orton has not accomplished in his career. And he came up basically through the minors, if you will. He's almost like, he's not Derek Jeter, but Derek Jeter came up through the minors of the Yankees. He came up through the minors of Vince, and he's always been there. He's just been there and been there for 20 years almost at this point. He was the youngest world champion at the time that he won the World Heavyweight Championship at 24. Look, say what you will, but the RKO is one of the greatest finishers ever, man. How many different times have we seen the RKO?
So many of the pro wrestling experts talk about Randy Orton as half-assing
They hate him.
the majority of his matches.
Yeah, right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't agree with that. There might have been a time or two where you could say somebody mailed it in, but I've seen... Look, do you realize how many times a year these guys go out there? What the hell are we talking about? If you can point out 1 or 2 times in a guy's entire career, like, oh, look, he's... How many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of matches Randy Orton's had? Come on.
You could argue that Randy Orton's best work has been during this COVID era.
He's done some great work during this COVID era. Randy Orton is, to me, a very unappreciated pro. He's a great villain. Mm-hmm. He's gotten better and better on the mic over the years.
Right,
He's had some
killer. Let's get to it, the head-to-head competition. You ready?
All right.
Mil Mascaras against Randy Orton, Mike Skills.
Oh, that's what's funny, a lot of the times Randy Orton would be in trouble in this category, but he's not. He's not here. Mil Mascaras didn't have Mike Skills, and Randy can do just fine. So yeah, that's Randy.
Okay, Matt Skills.
You agree, right?
I agree.
Come on, stop.
Matt Skills, Randy Orton, Mil Mascaras.
Randy Orton hasn't beat. The one flying body press doth not a repertoire make.
Wow, this is like a blowout already.
No, calm down. We're not done yet.
Overall,
you agree with Matt Skills, though? I want to make sure
I agree with Matt Skills.
You're with
fans,
me
you guys
here.
could weigh in if you disagree.
But let's really think about this. Mike Skills, stop. Matt Skills, a flying body press was really the one thing. Don't tell me Randy Orton does not have more in his arsenal than that. Stop. Okay, how about
overall influence on the industry?
Mascaras.
Why?
Do you realize how many luchas have come since him and the road that he opened, the door he opened for the Rey Mysterios and everybody else? Oh, my God. No way, ands, or ifs about it. Randy Orton is a legend. Randy Orton has done many things. There is not a sea of new Randy Orton showing up that wrestle and look and want to be like Randy Orton, but Mil Mascaras opened a floodgate for a whole genre. Mil Mascaras wins this number 3 by a mile.
I agree with you. So we got 2-1 right now. Back of the baseball card.
Well, this is where Randy clinches this competition because there is no competition. Randy Orton has held every damn belt in the WWE, and it's no competition. I'm sorry.
Right.
If Mill had been more willing to work with people and he might have won a world title
Or
or two.
maybe stayed within
or
the
even if he turned
organization.
the belt back 6 days later, like Antonio Inoki could say he was world
enough.
champion several times.
Fair enough.
In the NWA and the WWF.
Fair enough.
Do business a little better to get your resume.
You
Not that Mill needed it. He didn't need
I
it.
think that Mill and Brody, if they just would have did business a little better, things could have been a little different.
I can't say better. I just think that if they had been more willing to play ball, perhaps, with the way the Vinces and the Turners do, then maybe they would have had a belt or two more.
How about the
heavyweight.
it factor?
Mascaras?
By far.
By far.
So on the two
By far.
on two levels, overall influence of the industry, the it factor, Mil Mascaras blowing them away.
Yep.
But we got to give the competition to the
On
Viper,
points, yeah.
Randy Orton.
On points, it's 3-2. That's basically it. It was
right.
interesting, though. I'll tell you that. That was an interesting matchup.
All right. Well,
You know what would happen if they wrestled, though? Vince would tell Mill, you're going to lose, and it would be a 5-second match.
and it'll be over.
Yeah, he just hit with an RKO. Just tell him to hit me with the
Russell
RKO.
Campbell says you're right there.
Oh, thank you, Russell.
Crusader says Orton.
Okay, that's. By the way, I'm a huge Randy Orton fan. This pains me. Last week I'm a big John Tolos fan, and the Miz won, so that pains
It's
me.
the way it is.
It is what it is.
All right, I want to talk about next week.